Listen to what this homeless man has to say about someone who helped him.
That little boy, I love him. He means a hell of a lot to me. A hell of a lot. Because anybody try to hurt that boy, they gotta walk through me first. That's the truth.
He's talking about one of these three young men. Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Trevor Farrell.
Number two.
My name is Trevor Farrell.
Number three.
My name is Trevor Farrell.
Only one of these people is the real Trevor Farrell, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now let's meet our panel. Actor and raconteur Orson Bean. The Emmy Award-winning co-star of Golden Girls, Betty White. Film and television producer David Niven Jr. And temporarily unable to make her usual grand entrance, our very own Kitty Carlisle. Here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Lynn Swann.
We are back together once again. It's always a pleasure. Let's get right to the story presented by our first team of challengers, all three of whom claim to be Trevor Farrell. And here is his story. Please read along with me. I, Trevor Farrell, have served 250,000 meals to street people. It all started when I was 11. My father and I left our suburban home and drove downtown, where I gave a blanket to a man sleeping on the street. We returned every night after that, giving coffee and donuts to our homeless friends. Now we operate Trevor's Place for the homeless. Tomorrow, Thanksgiving, we will serve 500 dinners to our friends in the street. Remember, when you give someone a blanket, you give them more of the warmth for one night. You give them hope for a lifetime. Signed, Trevor Farrell. We'll find out more about this helping hand right after this. Okay, panel, these three people all claim to be Trevor Farrell, who serves meals to the homeless. Now, let's start the questioning with Kitty.
Thank you. Number one, this is an extraordinary thing you do. Do you need donations of money?
Yeah, that's our full support is donations.
And where does one send, number two, where does one send money to?
They can send it to our headquarters.
Where's that?
It's in Philadelphia.
And number three, when you drove downtown that first time, how did you happen to have a blanket with you?
Well, what happened was that day I had seen a news clip of homeless people, and I asked my dad whether or not people really lived like that on the streets of Oakland. And we went down and I brought the blanket for the homeless person.
And number one, where do you live?
Chicago. I live in Oak Park, which is a suburb of Chicago, Illinois.
And number two...
Thank you. David?
Thank you. Number one, who actually cooks these 250,000 meals? Or...
We have volunteers that cook the meals, and some people bring in food that's pre-cooked and donate it.
Number two, are you going to give us your address or where we send the money if any of the viewers would like to do so?
Yeah, I can give it.
Number three, what are you going to do next? Are you going to keep doing this, or do you have another long-term goal?
Well, as of right now, I'm just going one day at a time. Tomorrow morning, I probably will get up and help the homeless, and the next day I will, but I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I know I'll always have a special heart for the homeless.
Okay, number one, what do you do about schooling?
Time's up. Betty White.
Number one, how many volunteers work on this program?
We have over 1,700 volunteers on standby, and so many work a night.
Number three, about how many a night, in a given night?
We usually have 4 to 5 staff who operate Trevor's Place.
Number two, how do you keep your food hot?
We have little warming containers in the back of the vehicles.
Number one, are those vehicles sponsored?
They're donated, yes.
They're donated,
yes.
And I see. Thank you.
Let's move down the line to Orson Bean.
I have a friend here in L.A., Joe McDermott, who makes hundreds and hundreds of sandwiches a day and corrals the rest of us. Number three, Trevor's Place. Now, what actually is Trevor's Place? Is it vehicles or is it a storefront? What is it?
No, Trevor's Place basically is a house or an apartment building per se.
Yeah. Number one, tomorrow will you be serving turkey dinner with all the fixings or what?
We sure will.
Yeah, and do you ever get any rich people that sneak in just for a free turkey?
No.
Yeah, to hell with them. Let the rich people live. All right, number two.
But you can donate one, Orson.
I'll pay a turkey.
Your time is up, panel. Time to vote for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if our panel is completely fooled, the team will receive $3,000. So panel, if you're ready to cast your ballot, Kitty, for whom did you vote?
Well, I think they're wonderful, and you're all to be congratulated, but I voted for number 1. I thought he had the most information and was really on the ball.
On the ball. David.
Well, believe it or not, I finally have agreed with Kitty. And I'm going to agree with number 1 because he also has a sort of face that would do this sort of wonderful deed.
Okay. Betty.
My first impression was that it was number 3, except that when they were telling the story and they were still up on the steps, he made just a little facial reaction, which I thought was done to fool us. And I wasn't going to be. Besides, I was born in Oak Park, so I had to go with number 1.
Oh, number 1 has 3 votes so far. Orson.
I voted for number 3. He said one day at a time he's going to keep doing this, kind of a spiritual thing to say, and he looks like he could do a lot of people a lot of good.
Well, this panel's vote is weighted heavily on number 1. Number 1, you have 3 votes. The confidence of this panel. Number 2, you didn't get a single vote. And number 3, you have 1 vote. Well, folks, it's time to find out who the real Good Samaritan is. Will the real Trevor Farrell please stand up? Number 2. So, Trevor, we'll get right back to you. Let's find out who your imposters are. Number 1, your name, and what do you do?
My name is Jesse Harper, and I put together books for a publishing firm.
Terrific. Number 3, your name, and what do you do?
My name is Jeff Jones, and I'm a teller at Bank of America in Newbury Park.
Well, wonderful. Well, you have stumped our illustrious panel. That means you will take home $3,000. What a great group to give it to. I think there are more turkeys in the offing here. All right. Now, Trevor, you've been doing this for how long now?
Since I was 11.
Since you're 11. If you can, do you have one story that you can recant, a short one, about these deeds?
Well, there's so many stories to tell. There's one fellow that you saw in the clip, Chico, who was one of my favorite homeless people. And sadly enough, he died 3 weeks ago. So.
Oh, we're sorry to hear that. Well, I'm sure his life was made much better by your efforts and what your entire family has done. You did a terrific job. If you'd like to know more about Trevor's story, look for his book entitled Trevor's Place. All of the proceeds do go to the homeless. Thank you very much for being here and playing on To Tell the Truth. We'll be back with a man who flies the Goodyear blimp right after this.
Are you watching, you little rascals?
Oh, it's fun, isn't it?
And who subscribes to it?
Go on.
Push the button.
Think of the fun you could have on the tube.
The tube?
Tube.
TV tubes. That's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It's going to be a lot more fun if you keep going the way you're going. Go on.
Push the button.
Please
subscribe.
I hope they're watching.